If you get that and that account grows exponentially, I would much rather have that exponential growth be tax-free. One of the best benefits of Roth accounts in estate planning is it transfers to your heirs and they have at least 10 years to continue investing it. And keep in mind, while they're continuing to invest it, what is it doing? It's growing tax-free. It's one of the best ways you can save for your retirement. It's a phenomenal account, the Roth IRA specifically. Let's talk about your kids, putting your kids on the payroll. So one of the greatest benefits of putting your kids on the payroll is they can easily put that money into a Roth IRA. But if you do that and you do it effectively, do it the right way, it's a phenomenal way to save money on your business, on your personal taxes, and it's a phenomenal way to supercharge your child's financial independence for their future as well. All right. Hello everybody, Ignatius Jackson CPA here with another exciting video for you. So today we are talking about a little post or tweet, whatever you want to call it, that I did for Black History Month, okay? Also, just want to mention new t-shirts, boom! Yeah, this is pretty cool. So it puts your kids on the payroll. Just got this in yesterday and just wanted to pop it on and just show you for this wonderful video. So this is going to be one of the topics that we talk about here today. I did a little post where I did 28 days of different tax tips and tricks and financial stuff and things of that nature that you can do for you and your business or you and your personal life in terms of getting you to that financial independence number that you're looking for. And really trying to strive for there. I'm gonna do a little series on those posts just to kind of talk through some of those cool tips, which I think would be good for people to kind of hear and remember and think about, okay? So first day, one of the things that we talked about was the Roth IRA deadline. It's April 15th of 2025. You have until then to contribute for 2024 tax year. Let me clarify, it's not just Roth IRAs, even though I love Roth IRAs, also traditional IRAs, okay? And so you have until then to go ahead and contribute for 2024 tax year. If you haven't done so already, please think about doing that. It's one of the best ways you can save for your retirement. It's a phenomenal account, the Roth IRA specifically. But if you prefer, you can also do traditional. We're going to talk through here in a second why I prefer the Roth over the traditional IRA. I think it's just a great account for you to start with, okay? You can put up to $7,000 a year into it for 2024 and for 2025. The rate did not change. If you're over 50, you can add an extra $1,000 to get you to a max of $8,000 for the tax year. So that's what you're looking at for 2024 and 2025. You could technically do both years at the same time. You could do 2024 and 2025 contributions at the same time and really kind of supercharge that account by giving you more of a highway lead time to grow it and really just kind of make it phenomenal, okay? So here's why I like the Roth IRA 9 out of 10 times over the traditional or the pre-tax, however you want to describe it. I prefer Roths because even though you might be in a high tax bracket, I still prefer Roths in a lot of cases. And here's the reason why, okay? If you look at the tax rates, if you purely look at it just off of tax rates, and you assume that tax rates haven't changed, this is what people always say. If you assume the same tax rate hasn't changed between when you start putting money in and when you take it out, which is bullocks. There's no way your tax rate's not going to change that whole time period, right? It's absolutely going to change. So tax laws are going to change. You're talking about 30 or 40 years in a lot of cases. There's no way that it's not going to change at some point, okay? But the theoretical philosophy is, quote, theoretical, is if the tax rates stay the same from when you put the money in and you take it out, then really there's no difference between traditional and Roth. Well, again, hogwash. All right, as far as I'm concerned. And here's why. One, this analysis typically assumes that you're basically taking the taxes that you had to pay for the Roth and paying the taxes instead of putting money into the account. That's not what people do, especially lower income people who aren't paying taxes anyways. That's not a consideration for them, okay? Most of the people that are doing Roth contributions or IRA contributions have enough money to pay the taxes and still max out on the account. So one, first of all, you're gonna max out on the account, all right? Whether it's Roth or traditional. The only difference is you might have to pay a little extra taxes when you go to file your tax return, and that's just going to come out of your other spending or other savings or whatever you might have, right? So you're going to put the same amount in there. But even if you factor that in, if you were getting a supercharged growth, like let's say you're averaging between 10 and 20% returns, which is not far-fetched, all right? The S&P 500, if you look at the last 10 years, like if you look at VOO, which is Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF, it's averaged, I think, close to 15%. It's about 14 point something percent. So it's over 14% though in the last 10 years per year. So why is it far-fetched to think that you're going to get somewhere between 10 and 15%? In a lot of analysis, we always use 8% as kind of a baseline level because that's what we believe that most people will just automatically pretty much get on an annual basis if you invest in the stock market. That's kind of just some historical number figure that the powers that be have created over some period of time, right? So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what everyone's going to achieve. Most people actually get more than 8% per year in returns, unless you're just being super, super conservative. You know, generally speaking, you're going to get a pretty significant return on that account each year. If you get that and that account grows exponentially, I would much rather have that exponential growth be tax-free, especially in the distribution phase. And this is what people don't often consider when they talk about that theoretical analysis, right? In the distribution phase, I can pull out less money than I would need to if I had to pay taxes in the distribution phase, because in the distribution phase, I likely might not have any other income to be able to pay the taxes. Whereas while I'm working, I do have other income to be able to pay taxes. So taxes become a real problem later in life if you have to pay taxes on money that you've been storing and accumulating, okay? And what if you have a big purchase you want to make? If you have a big purchase you want to make, let's say you want to buy a boat or an RV or something to go travel with, and you want to pay cash for it. Well, now if you take cash out of that retirement account that's pre-tax, you got some big, massive tax bill. Well, that's bull crap, right? So having that Roth account, I think, is super superior in a lot of cases. Now, the one time where I might lean against the Roth is if you're within like 10 years of retirement. Because if you're within 10 years of retirement, you don't have a super large bandwidth. If you're just doing traditional, not so sexy investing, you don't have a long bandwidth to grow it exponentially. So you're probably going to be fine just doing a traditional account in that case and doing pre-tax, okay? But if you're lower income, even within 10 years, if you're lower income, then the Roth probably makes a lot of sense. But if you're higher income within 10 years of retirement and you don't have a whole lot saved, then you might want to look at doing a traditional account potentially. So very rarely do I kind of believe that the traditional is better. There's certain circumstances where it is the case, but usually if you're supercharging that thing, you're investing in stuff that's going to have exponential growth, the Roth IRA is going to be superior. Okay. Estate planning. Estate planning is essential for Roth accounts. One of the best benefits of Roth accounts in estate planning is it transfers to your heirs and they have at least 10 years to continue investing it. And keep in mind, while they're continuing to invest it, what is it doing? It's growing tax-free. So not only do they not have to pay taxes for receiving it, they don't have to pay taxes when they take it out over that 10-year period. So they can let it sit in there and continue to grow for 10 years and not worry about any taxes. Whereas if it's traditional on the estate planning side, they're likely going to be taking money out each year of that 10-year period to help smooth out their tax burden on pulling money out of that IRA account, okay? Unless it's a super low balance, right, then it's not a big deal. But if it's a higher balance, like you got $1 million, $5 million in that IRA account, you're going to want that to be Roth, trust me, okay? If you expect your IRA account to grow exponentially, you want that sucker to be Roth. I'm just saying, all right? There's just no way around it. There's no other explanation for why you would not want that to be Roth. So you got the estate planning, you got the distribution phase, RMDs. That's another thing. You don't have RMD, required minimum distributions, when you have a Roth account, a Roth IRA specifically. Roth 401ks still have RMDs, Roth IRAs do not. So if you're getting close to RMD age, you want to make sure you transfer that Roth 401k into a Roth IRA, and then you should also take a look at converting any pre-tax or traditional 401k dollars you have into a Roth IRA account to help avoid RMDs, assuming you don't need to actually pull money out of the retirement account. There's some people who get to RMD age and still don't need the money in the account and want to just keep it in there and let it grow. That's when you might want to start to take a look at doing some conversions to Roth and get that out of the traditional or pre-tax accounts, okay? So you don't have to worry about RMDs. So that's three big factors that are often forgotten about in this analysis of traditional versus Roth. People always want to go to taxes. That's what you see 90% of the time when people are talking about Roth versus traditional. They're always talking about taxes. Well, what's your tax rate going to be in 20 years or 30 years when you retire versus what is it now? I mean, if it's going to be a lower tax rate, then you should totally, definitely go ahead and do traditional and pre-tax right now and save yourself on the taxes now. And when it's later in life, when your tax rate's lower, you'll pay a lower tax bill. That is the most short-sighted analysis. I'm sorry. I'm cracking up at my own voice on that one. That was pretty funny. That's the most short-sighted analysis that you could have on the traditional versus Roth analysis, okay? It's not a very easy analysis. You have to look at things holistically. You have to consider multiple factors that we've kind of touched on here. So now that we've talked about the Roth and why, let's talk about your kids, putting your kids on the payroll. So one of the greatest benefits of putting your kids on the payroll is they can now, especially if they're under 18 and don't have any payroll taxes, no income taxes, they can easily put that money into a Roth IRA. And when you put that money into the Roth IRA, now you have it's like a no-brainer, right? You didn't pay any taxes to put money into it, and you pay no taxes later in life as long as your child that has that account keeps it in there until they're 59 and a half, or it passes to their heir if they, God forbid, pass away before 59 and a half. Hopefully all of our children live until they're at least 59 and a half, right? And can enjoy the fruits of their labor. But, hopefully that doesn't happen. But just imagine, even if it's only a couple $1,000s earning 10 to 15% a year over a 50-year time period, 60-year time period, just depending on how early you start putting money into there. I mean, there's very few cases where you're going to put money into a retirement account for a kid when they're under 10 years old. I can think of a few reasons why you might be able to justify maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a year when they're under 10 years old. But if you're putting away like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 into a retirement account or or paying the kids from your business and they're under 10 years old, you're probably doing some finagling of the system there. So just kind of be reasonable. Paying your kids is a great strategy because of the reason that I just mentioned. You can put money into the Roth IRA. It's completely tax-free in that situation. It's phenomenal, all right? So paying your kids is great. It's a great way to save money on your business taxes, on your personal taxes as a business owner. And it's a great way to supercharge your kids' future by allowing them to go ahead and start investing early towards their future. That's another great opportunity for paying your kids. Here's how you pay your kids. If you're a sole proprietorship or a partnership, all you do is basically set up a bank account for the child. It could be a savings account, it could be a checking account, whatever you're able to do. And then you transfer the money from your business account into the child's bank account. Then from their bank account, you can put it into the Roth IRA, or you can use the money for their personal expenses that they have, like school costs, going to play with their friends, bowling, whatever they want to do, right? You can use it for any of those costs. Or you can put it into another investment vehicle and continue to save even more for them. If they are working for an S corporation or a C corporation, you have to do it a little bit differently. You have to be a little more strategic here, because there's a rule that says if you pay a kid under 18 from an S Corp or a C Corp, they're still subject to payroll taxes. So if that's the case, your child's under 18, then you want to set up often referred to as a family management company, or just basically a sole proprietorship that does whatever it's doing for your business. So if it's administrative work, it's an admin firm. If it's cleaning, then it's a house cleaning firm. If it's yard work, it's a yard maintenance firm. I mean, you just kind of create it based on whatever it's doing for the business, okay? And when you do that, now you pay 1099 from your S Corp or C Corp over to your sole proprietorship. You're going to send an actual 1099 over to yourself. Yes, you are. All right, you're going to pay that to your sole proprietorship there. You can technically get an EIN number for the LLC if you want for the sole proprietorship. It's your call, but the rules technically say you're supposed to send it to your social even if you do. So you can do that. And then once you do that, then you push it from the sole proprietorship account to your child's bank account. Once it's in your child's bank account, you then use it the same way that you've done for the other scenario. So that's, in a nutshell, how you pay your kids. Now, I want to be very clear here. This is for actual labor that they're actually doing for your business. You should have a timesheet. You should have a log of what they did. You should have a decent pay rate. It shouldn't be like $50 an hour when they're freaking 10 years old. It's probably going to be minimum wage, right? That's for what most young kids would make. As they get older, you can raise it based on the duties they're doing. If they're old enough to do marketing for your business, then you could pay them like you would pay any other marketing company that's out there. So it's just, you have to do it based off of what they're doing for your business. So you have to be reasonable with the compensation. But if you do that and you do it effectively, you do it the right way, it's a phenomenal way to save money on your business, on your personal taxes, and it's a phenomenal way to supercharge your child's financial independence for their future as well. That's the tip for today, or that's the video for today. So we're going to go through more of the tips and tricks and stuff that we did on the Black History Month posts that I did for the whole month of February. But for now, I'll leave you with that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this wonderful video. There's a part in there that's pretty freaking hilarious if you ask me, but we'll see. And I just hope everybody is really striving on their journey and doing well on their journey to financial independence. If you're already there, awesome. If you're still working on it, stay strong. Pay yourself first, right? Hashtag pay yourself first. Keep paying yourself first. Keep growing it. Keep investing it. And you'll get there one day near soon. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody has a good one. Peace.